So let's talk about this All-Star game. I haven't yet spoken on the All-Star game, what the starters look like, what the bench look like, what the bench looks like, um, and we really need to talk about this because they came out the results. So first, I want to say that the starting lineups are all that we have so far. If I'm not mistaken, the starting lineups are a mix of the fan vote, the media vote, and the coaches vote. If it's not the coaches, it's the players, where they get to vote basically on the stars and the people who are going to participate. The only reason why I want to say that is because it's not all fans, because as it has happened a lot of years before, a lot of guys undeserving of the All Star spots who were on very popular teams like Saza Pachulia got All Star starter votes. And yes, that did happen. One season, Saza Pachulia was going to be an All Star starter, but then they had to change the vote to make it more, you know, intelligent so that it wouldn't so that he wouldn't make an all-star game due to the fact that the Warriors at that time had the strongest fan base in the NBA. The captains of these teams are LeBron James and Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think they're both well deserving of it. Obviously, LeBron, we have to give him his respect. In my opinion, if you fight the fact that he is the the captain, then I think that you're just, fighting against yourself because LeBron is LeBron. And even with everything that, okay, he doesn't maybe have the best stats of all time this season. He has great stats, but maybe not the 100% number one stats of every player. But out of respect and out of, like love for LeBron, that he doesn't have much time left and that he's the most popular player by far with the fans. I think that putting him number one and putting him as the captain is important. Giannis is the other captain because obviously Giannis in the East has done waves. The East doesn't have the veteran guys which the West does. Like last season, it was Kevin Durant when he was in Brooklyn because Kevin Durant is obviously Kevin Durant. And really, Giannis is going to be, I think, the captain for quite a few years in the East. I do believe that it's good. Giannis is a great face of the league. He's a good speaker. He's a good representative, and it's good that he's up there and making a name for himself because after the older guys are gone, then it's going to be much harder to assess the league and the league superstars when the guys like LeBron, Kevin Durant, and Steph are gone. The other starters for the East with Giannis, we have the 2 point guards. The two guards are Damian Lillard and Tyrese Halliburton. Well deserved, both of them. I do think that maybe Jalen Brunson could have gone in for Damian Lillard, but I'm not fighting it because Dame has, been excellent this season. Yes, he has some bad games. Yes, he has some rough moments, but he just got traded to this team and he's having a great season where he's become a lot of a playmaker. And I personally think that is very important, especially when you consider the fact that his team was the number one seed or the number two the number two seed in the East, and that he's splitting stats with Giannis and he's still averaging 25, 7, and 4. Then we have Tyrese. Obviously, I'm not going to explain this. Tyrese has been the best point guard, the best pure point guard in the league. He's amazing. He's like a young, like Jason Kidd right now, and I really like him. Then for the forwards, we have Giannis and Tatum. Tatum and Giannis don't need any explanation. They're the two best forwards in the East every single season. They're normally the two All NBA first team forwards every single season, and they're the best forwards in the league. That's about it. Then finally, with the center spot, we have Embiid. I don't think this has to come as a surprise to anybody that Embiid is the center spot, because when we're picking out of the greatest players in the world, Embiid might be the MVP this season. Then for the West, in the guards, we have some controversy. For the guards, we have Luka Doncic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now, with this being said, yes, those are the guards. Yes, Steph Curry's not there, which has been a big talking point. And honestly, I do believe that that should be the starters. I don't care what Steph does, you know. Steph is amazing, but there's just these young guys who are playing much better than him. I feel like this also has to do with team ability, because if we're being honest, it doesn't matter who wins more for an All-Star game, but I do believe that when we consider you know, like the factors of like that Steph's team is trash this year, that they've underwent all of this adversity, and the fact that now, you know, Steph has regressed in his statistical output, you know, especially with the fact that this season he does not quite have, you know, like the statistical output to keep up with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or Luka Doncic. Those two guys are incredible. And even though Steph, yes, he's averaging 27 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds on 40% from 3 and 45% from the field, like Shai Gilgeous is almost a 50-40-90 player with 2 steals, 30 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds. Luka Doncic is averaging almost a triple-double with 34 points. So when we're being honest and when we're being truthful to ourselves, Steph this season just doesn't get to make the starting cut. What does surprise me though is that the fans did not rule over. The Steph is one of the most fan players in the league by far, and he has a lot of fans. I don't know how he didn't get in, because with the forward positions, it seems like both of these guys were mostly based off of fans. The forward positions for the West are LeBron James and Kevin Durant. These two guys are amazing. They're great. They're phenomenal. They have been playing great this year. And honestly, they're the two guys which probably get the most fan pull in the NBA. So if we're being honest, I think they sit pretty comfortable, you know. Both those guys have great stats. And even though, yes, you might say that there may be some better forwards, right? I will say that those guys are the most legendaries, and that they're also two of the guys which are probably going to be retiring soon. So you just right now got to give them some respect. You know, Kawhi is a guy which should have probably maybe been there, but I think that his output has been, you know, a bit underwhelming when it comes to statistical, like wow, you know, because it's like he's averaging 34 points, 4 assists and 6 rebounds, and even though that's good, I will say that apart from his percentages, which are amazing, that they're not as impressive as his peers. Apart from that, you have other guys in the West, but I do believe that, you know, KD and LeBron are the best forwards, with Kawhi as a close third. And finally, the center position is obviously Nikola Jokic. There's no other center like him. Would not name Joel Embiid, which is in a completely different conference. And it's pretty good that both of these guys don't have to compete for an all-star starter spot, because both of them are amazing. Now, with that being said, those are the starting fives of the all-star game. I will say that these starting fives are already set. So if you got mad at something, then it is what it is, you know. And now the whole point, I believe, is that is the prediction of who's going to win this All-Star game. And in my opinion, for the 2023 All-Star game, I think the West is going to absolutely smack the East. The reason why I think this is because even though the East is amazing, and maybe as a team they're going to play better, I do believe that the West has something which the East doesn't, and it's an extreme amount of depth unseen in a while. Like the East has good players, but the West in their bench has Steph Curry, Kawhi Leonard, Domantas Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox just gonna be able to pop up. Anthony Edwards gonna be able to come up at any second. With the East, I do believe that they're gonna flow better as a team. I will believe that Halliburton's style and Dame's style are gonna connect with each other. With Giannis and Tatum, but I do believe that it's gonna be a close matchup. But I personally, I'm rooting for the East, but I think the West is gonna win.